Hello and welcome to the Druid. Today again we're without Luna, so you have to do with me today for a very interesting, at least that's what I hope, a very interesting um, story about the tarot. I'm mad about the tarot. I dream the tarot. The tarot is my biggest. It's my job. I work with tarot, so I love it very much, and always interested in yeah in discovery and talking and finding out things to improve my own reading and also the way I look at tarot. And one of these things is called um, the Fool's Journey, or the archetypal journey through the Major Arcana. So the Major Arcana, the Arcana is the secret of the tarot. There's a major and a minor Arcana. So there is small secrets, the minors, and there's the big secrets, the Major Arcana. There are 21 cards, or actually 22. There's a card number 0, and the card number 0 is the Fool, and that's the one who journeys through the various archetypes of their lives, of his life. Um, so he starts somewhere, meets all kinds of people, all kinds of things happen to him in his life. So it's a hero's journey, if you could call it in the terms of Carl Jung, who says there's a hero's journey here, and that's what it all represents. The Fool's journey, the journey of the journey of the hero. The journey of the hero to the tarot. So we're going to do it today. The 21 steps the Fool takes. We're going to change my view, and we'll bring up some cards. Today I'm going to work with 2 decks. The most famous deck, and probably a deck that people already have, because I see it in many houses, which is the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. This is the Radiant Rider-Waite deck. So it's developed by Mr. Waite and published by Mr. Rider, but the actual paintings are by Pamela Coleman Smith. And here is my personal go-to deck, which is the Thoth Tarot, and that's created in the 1940s. The 2 creators were Aleister Crowley, the occultist, the wickedest man on earth, and his co-partner, his lady, who drew all the images. So you see they're very nice images. Is Lady Frida Harris, and these cards represent the Fool, the Thoth, the Fool, and the Rider-Waite. They go on a journey. They live their lives and experience all kinds of things. They meet people. They have adventures. They have good things. There are different hard things happening in their lives, and they are, they represent actually the journey that you take through life. It's actually a journey that you take yourself when you're in your life journey. So that's what it actually represents. One question from hello Iron Firehorse and hello Journey Itaki. Luna is still on holiday. She promised to be back next week, but she's having a break, well deserved. She is with friends, and so she leaves the show to me today. So it's Luna and the Druid, but then without Luna. So here we go. So we're having the Fool's journey. The Fool goes on a journey, and he meets all kinds of people. And the first one the Fool meets is the Magician. And the Magician, as you can see, as above, so below, is the Master. The mastery, the power of manifestation. It's also, the card also represents when you're young and life, you discover life, everything is magic. You cry and you get fed. You get a wet diaper, you cry again, and the diaper gets clean. And it's all by magic. And as you develop, and especially when you go into the real world, you slowly uh, lose the magic. And the challenge always is to go through life, to develop yourself in life, and rediscover the magic. And that's done by self-development, by mastery, by learning to communicate. So talk, by expressing yourself. These are all aspects that the full, or that the Magus has. The Magus is ruled by Mercury, so that's the planet of communication. So it's all about communication, saying what you want. And as you can see in in both cards here, we also call him the juggler. He juggles all the elements that he needs. And the table of this magician, it's more better visible: the wand and the sword and the cup and the pentacle. And we have the pentacle, the wand, the cup, and the sword in this card as well. So having all the tools, having the availability, the possibility to manifest stuff, and you learn to harness the tools and the resources at your disposal. Next, the Fool knocks on the door of the High Priestess. And the High Priestess um, is not so much of communication, but the High Priestess is very well poised in intuition and inner knowledge. So, where the magician teaches you real life stuff, the High Priestess very much works on the spiritual side of things, uh, introducing to mysteries and the subconscious mind. So, when you are a high priestess, when you hit this one in your own life, this is the time where you develop your spiritual side, so the spiritual side of yourself. And Journey says Luna would like the high priestess on the journey. Well, actually, if you look at some of our older shows, especially in the beginning, I always says, and we welcome the High Priestess of Luna and the Druid, which is Luna herself, of course. And you're listening to Jan right now, yeah. And actually, I would then represent the magician probably, which is a role that fits the Druid very well. After that, we discover the Empress. We visit the Empress. So from the High Priestess to the Empress. The Empress is the quintessential mother role. So for the full, in the first life phases, the Empress represents the mother. In a further life phase, the Empress is, of course, the mother role or the parental role that the full can develop for themselves. So the Empress, nurturing creativity, abundance, and the nurturing aspects of life. So the good aspects of life. It's all about creating. It's all about Venus. There's the before Venus is in all the cards, so it's very feminine card. The Empress. Um, yeah, an interesting card. And she's followed up by the Emperor. And there we have card number 4. And I always say card number 4 is about stability, about authority, about which of course represents the Emperor as well, and structure, authority, order, rules, and leadership. Leadership always comes from something. It is given. You can inherit it. In the European royalty, the the kingship is something that's inherited. It goes from father to their oldest son or oldest daughter, and the emperor is the role of authority. Um, when you come to your emperor role, when it really kicks in is when you become an elder. That could be in school, you become the leader of the gang. It could be in your work when you become the leader of your department or the leader of your own business, or later when you become a chieftain or a wise crone. Um, and and it's about being in charge of the situation. This card, and the fool learns that the leadership skills from the emperor. But it's not only about worldly leadership, it's also about spiritual leadership. And that's represented by the Hierophant, card number 5. And the Hierophant is tradition, spiritual guidance. So it's older traditions, spiritual guidance, walking the right path, the path of justice, and also wisdom, understanding through uh, established beliefs. So in the very ancient tarot decks, the Hierophant was represented by the Pope, which was then the leader of the world. We're not going there with these cards. These cards would be the quintessential teacher, um, teacher of spiritual stuff, but also the teacher of worldly stuff. Um, it's that's what the card represents, the teacher. So you are a teacher yourself, or you're going on a learning spree. You're going to learn things, and the Hierophant is the energy and the one that the fool visits for his teachings, And when the fool continues life, learned a lot from the previous parental cards, priestess, empress, emperor, and hierophant. But of course, there's also other things in life, and the other things in life is that the fool first learns that the oneness that you feel when you're born, you're one with the family, you're one with your parents. Then you discover your individual self, either masculine or feminine, and the individual self craves unity, craves being united with someone else, and that's represented in the Lovers card. So when the Lovers card shows up, or when the Fool visits the Lovers card, uh, it's about choosing a relationship, choices and relationships. You encounter love, partnership, and the need for making choices and for committing there as well. As you can see in both cards, the marriage is blessed here by an angel, here by a hermit, probably we say. um, Cupid comes in this card very visible as an energy from the traditional tarot, where Cupid fires his arrow to make the couple join themselves. A very interesting card, a card that we see many times, for instance, in movies uh, and in examples. Oh, James Bond, you drew the Lover's card, you're going to get the girl. Well, we knew that before, and of course, because James Bond always gets the girl. Next up, we're on the move. We're on the move. And we get the Chariot. It's about willpower. It's about lining your sphinxes so with willpower, so they go in your direction. So control, willpower. You learn to steer your course through determination and focus. Um, the charioteer also learns to win, and also learns that sometimes when you win, someone else loses, or when someone else wins, you have to lose. So it's there's also this energy where we find the answers to that type of questions. Is it okay to win? Is it okay to lose? Uh, should we make prisoners, or would there be victims when I win? And there most likely will be victims when you win, because when you win, someone else loses. But that's not always the case. There's always cases where you win and leave enough for other people. And that's also one of the lessons the fool learns, that uh, you can win, but you don't need to be greedy all the time. Then we get to card number 8 in the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot, and number 11 in the Toss Tarot, but they're the same cards. The 8s and 11s in these decks are swapped. I don't go into detail why that is. That's something for another show. But they're here together. Strength. And by Crowley, it was more called lust, and the lust of love under will and control. So it's courage and inner strength that this card represents. The fool learns to be courageous. The fool learns to harness their inner strength and discover the power of patience, compassion, and inner resilience. Um, Resilience, it's taming the lion. That's the resilience. The lion, which is very well represented in the Thoth Tarot as the outside influences. That it's more hidden in the Smith Coleman Smith Tarot, but here it's the the ground is in control of all the influences that try to manipulate them, and that no longer works because the fool has learned to harness their inner strength. Wonderful. Then we go to a very important and very interesting card number 9, and that's the Hermit. The Hermit, as the word already says, it's about solitude. But why is the Hermit alone? It's alone by choice. It's alone to discover introspection, to take time for self-reflection and inner guidance. So the inner guidance, of course, represented by the light that the Hermit carries, is in a very desolate landscape in the Coleman Smith Tarot, the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot. More interesting is the Cerberus, the dogs that follow him, the light that radiates in different directions, the Orphic egg and the sperm. So it's about fertility, reproduction. A very interesting card where the fool learns how important it is to sometimes take a step back and to look at the situations. Where am I? What am I doing? How am I doing? What's happening in my life? Interesting stuff. And so we're about halfway, and we come to the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is the first card that's not represented by a person, but by an energy, the energy of the ups and downs in life, where you remember, when you learn that you're not always on the way up, but sometimes you're on the way down. But always trust that you will find your way back. So the wheel represents cycles and change, of cycles of change, and face the ups and downs of fate and the constant flow of life. And of course, we all want to be the sphinx that's on top of everything, the sphinx that has a high. But it's always when after a high, the chances of getting a new low are again there. But it's not called the Wheel of Fortune for nothing, because the general direction that life will take when the fool lives is positive. It's growing. It's getting better all the time. Hopefully for him. Card number 11, justice or adjustment. And that's fairness, honesty. The fool learns to be honest, to be balanced. The fool learns that actions have consequences. There's cause and effect, and there's balance after imbalance. So the fool learns fairness and truth. the consequences of your actions, the seeking of balance. In both cards, it goes a bit further here where we actively seek for balance, and this one more or less seeking for balance and truth and justice and honesty. Very important card. Um, there's also the lesson that you sometimes have that you have uh, to trust, to trust the wheels of justice and the wheels of time and what they represent. Justice. So we passed the halfway mark now, and maybe a good time to stand still for a second and um, tell you about these cards that I do here. We treat every card with 90 seconds to 2 minutes, uh, which is obviously not nearly enough to talk about the cards, because you can talk for hours about any card. Luna and me, from January to June, have posted every week uh, one 30-minute episode where we talk about each one of the card for 30 minutes. So if you think, hey, this is interesting, I'm learning something from this, maybe I can take it a step further, I would suggest go to our website, go to our playlists. There's a playlist about the archetypes and the fool's journey where you can one by where you can go from the oldest to the newest and have an entire episode of Luna and the Druid for each and every card. Each and every card. So we're halfway. We're halfway in balance now, and we move on to card number 12. Also, a very interesting and a card that sometimes people frown upon or ask, "What does this mean for me? Do I get the Hangman card?" Well, the Hangman card is all about surrender and perspective and sacrifices. You learn to let go of uh, of things that don't serve you, and you learn to take time to gain wisdom. Um, it's about surrender. It's about sacrificing. Um, Sometimes we say that the hangman is not hanged by someone else, but has hanged himself in on the tree or on the yank with the snakes and the water, um, and it's about gaining wisdom. And when you gain wisdom and change perspective, all of a sudden the world isn't upside down anymore. that's that's an interesting aspect of the hangman, that when when you sacrifice yourself, when you go in there, you'll become wiser, better, more equipped to continue life. Because there's dark clouds on the horizon, because we're facing card number 13. And 13, of course, the traditional unlucky number. I don't care. I think 13 is a lucky number as well. But it's about the death card is about transformation. The death card is about, especially in the Druid tradition, is about the wheel of the year, when death represents winter. And of course, we have spring, summer, the fall, and then we have winter. And in winter, the land lays barren. Nothing grows there. There is death and silence on the land. But uh, we transform. We transform when we die, and and of course we get back to a spring again. Death is also representative of the big changes that we go through in life. So the death comes around the age of 20, when we grow up and when we leave our inner child, hopefully not completely, but we exchange our inner child for the young adult and later the adult. And that's a transformative process. The child dies and the adult grows. Uh, the adult becomes a mother or does a big career or becomes a father. Uh, and After another 20, 25 years, that evolves again. You become the chieftain or the master, or you're the master of your trade, and you become better, and you transform again. So the old role, because there are roles of life, they die and get reborn again into newer roles. And the third and fourth life phase is when we retire, when we take the real step back, and um, Luna is sending love. Hello, Luna. Nice to see that you're here too. So when our career dies, or our career life dies, and the old age kicks in, so we transform again into a next phase. Transformation and endings, profound change, and the end of old ways, represented in the death card. Two quite different energies on card number 14. The card is traditionally called Temperance, has always been called Temperance. Crowley turned it into the card of art. This is one of the cards where we chose to do 2 episodes. So there's 2 uh, separate episodes about any of the cards. But the Temperance is the balance and moderation. So you learn not to get carried away completely when things go right, but especially that is to balance the negative effect of things that don't go right, that go different than right. So it's the big ups and lows in the big ups and downs in life get temperate. The card represents the dilution of wine with water, so you don't get too drunk by it. You learn to blend opposites to find a harmony. The art card uh, also, you can see the mix of the 2 bottles. Uh, Also, the art card represents um, the coming together of opposites, and in this case also represents the magical art of creating life, when the cauldron would become the womb. And the card is in this deck is very much related to the Lover's card. Interesting. But the Lover's card, is also related to the Devil, because we see them back here in the Devil. Temptation, materialism, being locked in, Um, yeah, you confront your darkest desire and the illusion of being trapped, because everybody looks trapped, but it's just an illusion. It's a trap that's created in the mind, and that's what the devil represents. The devil also represents and that's also a lesson for the fool, to willfully and responsibly deal with the temptations of life. We're definitely not the ones saying that there shouldn't be temptation. I think there should be temptation. There can be more temptation. Temptation is never enough. Um, but do it responsibly. Enjoy life responsibly. Whatever steps you take, enjoy it responsibly. Then one of the most feared cards and one of the most feared energies of of the tarot, card number 16, the Tower, where the fool learns to ride the waves, and the fool learns that there is maybe a dark night of the soul. There is transformation when things go badly wrong, when things fall apart, and where you learn to sit through it, where you learn that after the dark times and after the misery, after the destruction, there'll be new times and new things growing. And we see it in in the current society, we're faced by war and destruction in Ukraine and Gaza, and um, tower moments up there, dark nights of the soul up there, uh, dark dark times for the people living there. And as we know from history, that once these wars are ended, once these dark days are ended, there's always a new foundation to build up life again and to become happy again. So when your life falls apart, that's what the fool learns. When your life seems to fall apart, when things don't go in uh, every direction except the one you're craving for, the one you want, um, the tower card learns you, teaches you that this is a process where you're in, and always go for what comes after. And what comes after the sudden change and upheaval? What comes after the dramatic shift? What comes after the breaking of the old structures? We get the star. And the star brings hope and inspiration, brings wealth and richness, brings flow and light into our lives. Um, the star finds renewed hope and a sense of purpose. So the star is one of the most positive, most hope bringing cards in the pack, and especially as a follow up of this turmoil, of this breaking down of old structures. There's this light that shines uh, towards the future, where there still is a future, despite everything that has happened in your life. There is a future, and the star will shine again. Life will bring pleasure again. Um, in this card, she's represented by the goddess Nuit. She cleans herself but shares the wealth with the earth. And here it's the flow uh, of, of, of the streams of life in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck that, that fills the pond of plenty, that fills the pool of plenty that we crave so much. Hope brought by the star. And here we have our 18th card of the Major Arcana, and that's Luna, the moon. It's about intuition, it's about illusions, it's about navigating through uncertainty, dog, wolf, and a narrow path, uh, dreams, subconscious, the star, or the moon. The moon is a reflection. And when we see the moonlight in the water, it's a reflection of a reflection. So always look um, for, that's what the fool learns. Look, is this real or is this an illusion? Am I going through dark times or am I going through bright times? Uh, in the toss, the fool learns that even in the darkest night, when the moon is out or when there's a new moon and you can't see the moon, the sun is already shining behind the horizon. So there is also much hope there, although sometimes the hidden things, the lies, the deceit, the truths that are not uh, clearly visible in the moonlight, always remember that the sun will shine again. And of course, the moon is followed up by the sun card. The sun, the baby enjoying life in the two people enjoying life in their secluded and secret garden. It's clarity, vitality, it's positivity, it's liveliness, livelihood. So we emerge, the fool emerges into the light, full of energy and with a clear vision. We learn that after the dark nights, the dark night of the soul in the tower, the hope, the moon card, which might represent dark nights, we have the sun, the heart of our solar system, the life bringer in our society that shines and brings life and plenty to all. Card number 20. We have Judgment and Eon. So again, two cards with a not completely aligned meaning. So the Judgment cards about awakening, renewal, and the Fool who experience a spiritual awakening and self-assessment, and uh, the wake-up call by the angel Gabriel, where the dead rise on the day of justice. Uh, very Christianized imagery in this card. While in the Eon card, we see the end of an eon and the start of a new one. So we're getting near the end of the Arcana cards. So we're ending, but there's also a new beginning there. A new beginning. That's what these cards represent. And the Fool learns finally that in the end it's all good. In the end, we're winning. In the end, we reach completion and wholeness. And that could be one time in life, it could be multiple times in life. Like I said earlier, we have these life phases that bring that bring that brings our lives to a certain end. Like we end our youth, we end our uh, working or parental life, we end um, the life on top where we work, but then we retire and become the wise ones and become the grandfathers, become the living ancestors. And that's what the world card represents: completion, wholeness, a sense of fulfillment, having completed the journey and integrated all aspects of the self. So this journey through the 21 arcana, the major arcana, the big secrets, represents and symbolizes the fool's growth from innocence and naivety to wisdom and self awareness. And it ends all in the achievement of enlightenment and completion. And completion. So when you like this about 2 minutes per card, um, a quick walk through the major arcana represented by the Fool's journey. Um, when you want to go deeper into the cards, there is a playlist on our website uh, about the archetypes and all cards. I think it's in total there's 23 episodes of about 30 minutes where every card is treated in in depth. And this is a very good way of learning to work with the tarot, learning to get to know your cards, or learn to get to know the archetypes of your cards. So that was the full journey. I hope you enjoyed this. I like doing it. It was a challenge for me to do this and to walk through the cards and share them with you all. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll be back together with Luna Monday in a week, and I sure hope to see you there and then. And for now, I'm going to sign off and say looking forward to see you again in our next episode. Bye bye.